Let me ask you something. What if I told you that just 60 minutes a day could completely redirect the path of your life? Would you actually believe that? Most people wouldn't. Why? Because they've been conditioned to think big results require extreme effort or rare opportunities. They believe change needs something dramatic. They assume success comes from exhausting workdays, lucky chances, or being born ahead of others. But that belief is wrong. Real transformation can begin with just one focused hour. 1 hour of intentional effort. 1 hour of self-control. 1 hour where you invest in your own growth instead of consuming someone else's highlight reel. The truth is, many people are active but not evolving. They scroll endlessly. They rush through tasks. They repeat the same routine every day. Yet they rarely pause to reflect, and without reflection, nothing improves. But if you're still here reading this, you're not average. You're looking for progress. You're open to change. Today, we're talking about a single hour that can shift your habits, increase your income, improve your relationships, and shape the legacy you leave behind. Because success isn't random. It's built through daily choices. And here's the powerful part. You don't need January 1st. You don't need validation. You don't need the perfect time. You only need one consistent hour. Own your first hour. Here's a simple but life-changing idea. The way you begin your morning influences everything that follows. That first hour isn't just part of your schedule. It sets the tone for your entire day. It's your mental foundation. Unfortunately, most people surrender it immediately. They open their eyes and grab their phones, notifications, messages, news, social media. They check in with the world before they check in with themselves. They never stop to ask, what matters most today? Who am I becoming? What am I building long term? If you don't take control of your mind early, external noise will control it for you, and the outside world is full of distraction, urgency, and negativity. Before you realize it, you're responding to problems instead of creating progress. So here's the challenge. Claim that first hour, before emails, before social feeds, before demands. Wake up earlier, not to follow a trend, but to build strength. Dedicate that hour to personal development. Read something valuable. Write down what you're grateful for. Map out your priorities. Picture your goals clearly. Exercise your body. Drink water. Spend a few quiet minutes thinking deeply. Do the activities your past self kept postponing. Because here's a principle that works. Win your morning, and you control your day. Control enough days, and you reshape your future. Some will say, I'm just not wired for mornings. But success isn't about preference. Discipline isn't emotional. Highly successful people don't feel motivated every single day. They rely on structure. They build habits. They stay consistent. And you can too. Make a commitment starting tomorrow. Before engaging with the world, strengthen yourself. Use that first hour to produce value, not consume noise. Don't just wake up physically, wake up mentally. Your opportunity isn't waiting late in the afternoon. It's waiting at the start of your day. Take ownership of it. Strengthen it daily. And by the time others are just starting, you'll already be mentally prepared. You won't simply be ready. You'll be ahead. Defend that hour. Once you claim your hour, the next step is protecting it. Because interruptions will appear, not dramatically, but quietly. A notification, a small request, a quick favor. And just like that, your focused time disappears. That hour is not spare time. It's not flexible. It's not optional. It is an investment. And if you don't treat it seriously, no one else will. Money can be replaced. Time cannot. So create boundaries. Decide clearly. This time is reserved. No random calls. No unnecessary scrolling. No reacting to minor issues. Not because you're selfish, but because you're intentional. Treat that hour like an athlete treats training. Like a professional treats preparation. Used correctly, it multiplies, bringing clarity, stronger skills, better results, increased income, and greater confidence. But only if you refuse to trade it for short-term distractions. Remember this: small interruptions steal big futures. Guard your time. Respect it. Protect it. Because one focused hour every day, repeated consistently, is enough to separate average lives from exceptional ones. And if you protect it today, it will reward you tomorrow. Don't exchange gold for crumbs. That's exactly what people do when they say, "I'll just check one thing. Let me answer this quickly." It'll only take a minute, and before they realize it, their most valuable hour is gone. Spent reacting to the outside world instead of improving their own. So here's a rule to build. Every evening, block out your hour for the next day. Schedule it, name it, lock it in. No changes, no excuses. Tell your family, tell your friends. Remind yourself, this is your time to think, to grow, to create, to build something meaningful. And if people don't honor it, teach them how. Not through frustration, but through steady consistency. Because when you respect your time, others begin to respect you. The rule is simple. If it doesn't help you grow, it doesn't deserve your hour. End of story. This isn't only about efficiency. It's about values. It's about saying, my future is important enough to protect. That first hour, that's your battlefield. Protect it like it's precious. Because it is. It's the line between ordinary and exceptional, between the lost and the focused, between the one who talks and the one who acts. Protect it today, and you'll thank yourself tomorrow. Direction before action. Taking the hour isn't enough. Protecting the hour isn't enough. You must know how to use it. That's where many people fail. They're active. They're constantly doing something. Their schedule is full. But here's the real question. Are they working on the right things? Because activity without direction leads to disappointment. It's like running hard on a treadmill, sweating, pushing, moving fast, but staying in the same place. So before you open a book, before you start building, before you press play on another video, pause and ask, where am I actually headed? That question changes everything. Without direction, there is no real progress. You may move, but you won't arrive. Direction is your compass. Action is your engine. You need both working together. Here's something practical. At the beginning of your hour, take 3 minutes, just 3, to gain clarity. Ask yourself, what is my main goal? What skill am I developing? What specific area am I improving today? And most importantly, why does this matter? Write it down. Don't trust your memory. Put it on paper, because when it's written clearly, your focus becomes stronger, and focused action creates results. Jim Rohn said, "Reasons come first. Answers come second. When your reason is strong, the path becomes clear." Let me warn you, if you skip this step, if you jump into work without intention, you'll waste your greatest resource, your attention. Worse than that, you'll mistake movement for meaning. You'll feel busy, but you'll remain stuck. Speed doesn't matter if you're heading in the wrong direction. So slow down long enough to aim properly. Align your daily actions with your long-term goals. A person with direction may walk slower, but they travel further. So when your hour begins tomorrow, don't rush into tasks. Start with a decision. Decide who you're becoming. Decide what truly matters. Decide which small step moves you closer to your dream life. Because direction transforms your hour into a mission. And when you live on purpose, you begin walking a completely different road. One that leads to real change. Learn for an hour, grow for a lifetime. Here's something I've realized. Success isn't only about effort. It's about learning what effort should be applied to. The moment you stop learning, you stop advancing. Now here's the encouraging part. Learning doesn't require a classroom. It doesn't demand expensive courses. It only requires one focused hour each day to sharpen your mind. That hour becomes your advantage, your quiet edge. While others consume entertainment, you consume knowledge. While they drift, you develop. And slowly, consistently, that daily learning separates you from the majority. Jim Rohn said it clearly. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. So what do you study during that hour? Books, audiobooks, mentors, biographies of successful people, personal growth, communication skills, health, wealth building, mindset. Study the material that actually moves your life forward. Because learning changes perception. And when your perception changes, your decisions improve. But let me make something clear. This isn't passive consumption. You're not endlessly scrolling motivational quotes and hoping something magically sticks. You're studying with intention. You're taking notes. You're applying what you learn. Because information alone doesn't change lives. Application does. 1 hour of focused learning every day may not look dramatic, but over a year, over 5 years, it builds wisdom, it builds confidence, it builds power. And that is how ordinary people create extraordinary lives. You're not just flipping through quotes and hoping something magically sticks. You say, "This is my growth hour," and understand this. 1 hour a day compounds. In 1 year, that's 365 hours. That's over 9 full-time work weeks invested directly into your own mind. Do that consistently for 12 months, and you won't even recognize yourself. Your vocabulary sharpens. Your confidence expands. You communicate with precision. Your thinking becomes clearer. Problems that once stopped you now become solvable. Why? Because you've been layering knowledge, idea by idea, chapter by chapter, lesson by lesson. And here's the beautiful part. No one can steal it from you. Skills can be developed. Belief can be strengthened. Knowledge grows when used, and it all starts with one focused, silent hour. So here's the move. Choose your resources before the hour begins. Don't improvise. Place 3 solid books on your desk. Cue the podcast intentionally. Open the course you've been delaying. And when that hour begins, dive in fully. Because every time you stretch your mind, you stretch your future. The person who learns daily increases their value continually. So don't ignore this. Don't rush through it. Turn learning into a routine, and success becomes a way of life. 1 hour of practice beats 10 hours of theory. Let's be clear about something. Learning is powerful, but learning without action, that's just entertainment. You can read endlessly, watch every tutorial, listen to every expert, but if you never apply it, you're not evolving. You're just collecting information. Success doesn't come from what you know. It comes from what you repeatedly do. Let me say it again. 1 hour of real practice is worth more than 10 hours of studying. Because execution builds ability. You don't become a great speaker by reading about speaking. You don't get strong by researching workouts. You don't master anything from the sidelines. You step into the arena. Here's where most people get stuck. They wait to feel ready. They wait for confidence. They wait for perfect conditions. But confidence is built through action, not before it. Every repetition sharpens you. Every attempt strengthens you. Every time you show up, you improve. So what does that mean for your hour? It means part of it must be practical. If you want to write, write. If you want to speak, practice out loud. If you're building a business, design the offer, make the call, send the pitch. If you're learning design, open the software and create. Stop preparing endlessly. Start executing. Because repetition creates mastery, not perfection, repetition. You don't have to nail it the first time, you just have to begin, and then refine, adjust, improve. That's how professionals are formed. And something powerful happens when you practice daily. You start seeing measurable progress. You feel improvement. You begin trusting yourself. And self-trust, that's the real victory. A person who trusts their own discipline becomes unstoppable. So here's your challenge. Take what you learned yesterday and apply it today. Even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it feels uncomfortable. Action transforms knowledge into strength. And one bold, focused hour of imperfect execution can change more than years of overthinking. Reflect, refine, repeat. Life doesn't improve just because you stay busy. It improves when you pause with intention. Most people move from task to task, day to day, goal to goal, without ever asking, how did I perform today? Growth doesn't live only in action. It lives in evaluation. Jim Rohn said, "A life worth living is a life worth recording." And here's the extension. A life worth recording is a life that keeps improving. So here's the system. At the end of your hour, not later, not tomorrow, spend 5 minutes reviewing. Ask, what did I learn? What did I complete? Where did I struggle? What will I improve tomorrow? It's simple, just honest. Many avoid this step because reflection reveals patterns. It exposes whether you're advancing or just spinning. But here's the formula. Reflection creates awareness. Awareness creates improvement. Improvement creates results. After reflecting, refine. What needs tightening? What should be removed? What could be upgraded? What can be simplified? You don't need massive change every week. You need small, intelligent adjustments over time. Excellence isn't a dramatic leap, it's consistent correction. Think about airplanes. They're off course most of the flight, but constantly recalibrating. And they still reach the destination. Why? Because they adjust. That's your model. Reflect, refine, repeat. Do it for a week. You'll feel a shift. For a month, others will notice. For a year, your life transforms. Experience alone doesn't guarantee growth. Evaluated experience does. So don't just live. Analyze, shape, elevate. That's how ordinary becomes extraordinary. 1 hour of health a day keeps the doctor away. Here's something many forget. Your body isn't just transportation. It's your power source. If the engine fails, the dream stalls. It doesn't matter how clear your vision is. It doesn't matter how ambitious you are. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Without health, everything slows. Body and mind are connected. When you're exhausted, your thinking suffers. When you're weak, leadership fades. When you're burned out, progress stops. So invest 1 hour daily into your most valuable asset, your body. No, you don't need to be extreme. You don't need competitions or marathons, but you do need movement, breath, stretching, sweat. Energy fuels achievement. Want sharper focus? Move. Want stronger drive? Train. Want inner calm? Breathe deeply. And it doesn't require all day. 1 intentional hour. Walk, lift, stretch, do yoga, step outside, get sunlight, fill your lungs, take care of your body. It's the only home you permanently live in. Neglect starts quietly. Missed workouts, poor food choices, too much sitting. And slowly the cost appears. Fatigue, illness, missed opportunities. Discipline feels light. Regret feels heavy. So protect your health hour, just like your growth hour, because you can't give your best running on empty, and you can't fulfill purpose while constantly managing pain. 1 hour to strengthen your body keeps weakness away, and success within reach. Build wealth in the quiet hour. Here's a powerful truth. Wages pay bills. Profits build freedom. To create profit, you don't need 10 hours a night. You don't need a team. You don't need approval. You need 1 focused hour. Most people finish work and mentally shut down. They say, "That's enough." Then they scroll, watch, drift. But that quiet evening hour? That's your opportunity. That's the space where you build something that belongs to you. Not for your employer, not for a paycheck, but for your future. In that hour, you can start a side project, learn a monetizable skill, write, plan, design, sell, build a digital product. You don't need perfect equipment. You need consistency and hunger. Will results show immediately? No. But that's not the point. The point is momentum. 1 hour per day, 5 per week, over 250 per year. That's not small. That's a launched product, a growing brand, a developed skill, a second income stream beginning to form. And it all starts in the quiet hour most people waste. Protect it, use it, build with it. Because 1 disciplined hour repeated daily can create a life most people only talk about. That's a future designed. But only if you treat that hour like something valuable. Not as spare time to kill, but as time to construct something meaningful. Wealth isn't built on wishes. It's built on effort. Quiet, focused, repeated effort, especially when nobody is watching. And here's the powerful part. If you stay consistent long enough, one day you'll pause and notice something incredible. That small daily hour strengthened your belief, increased your income, created your independence, and it all began with one decision: to stop wasting your quiet time and start investing it. That's a future created, but only if you treat the hour like treasure, not as time to waste, but time to build. You don't build wealth with wishes. You build it with work. Quiet, focused, consistent work when no one's watching. And here's the best part. If you do that long enough, one day, you'll look up and realize something. That little hour built your confidence, built your income, built your independence. And it started when you made one simple decision to stop wasting the quiet hour and start using it to build your fortune. Relationships built 1 hour at a time. Now let's talk about something most success books leave out: relationships. Because what good is a fortune? What good is a strong body, a sharp mind, a big bank account, if you don't have people to share it with? Success without connection is empty. You don't build a good life just by building businesses or habits. You build a good life by building people. And that takes time. That takes care. That takes presence. But here's the good news. Just like you grow wealth with 1 quiet hour, you grow relationships the same way, 1 hour at a time. 1 hour of real conversation. 1 hour of listening, not just hearing. 1 hour of putting the phone down and looking someone in the eyes. You see, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel, and they feel it when you give them time. Now, I'm not asking for 10 hours a week. I'm not asking you to become a therapist. All I'm saying is give someone in your life your full attention for just 1 hour. Your spouse, your child, your parent, your mentor, your friend. And don't just sit in the same room. Be there, ask questions, share stories, laugh a little, or just sit together and be quiet. Because presence is powerful. Let me tell you what happens when you do this. Trust starts to grow, walls begin to fall, love multiplies, and connection deepens. It doesn't take a fancy dinner or a big trip. It takes 1 hour of your heart with no distractions. And I'll say this: the people who know how to build great relationships, they always win in the long run. Because in the storms of life, and they will come, money won't hold your hand, success won't hug you, but relationships will. So schedule that hour. Make it intentional. Because if you don't invest in people, you'll wake up one day surrounded by things, but feeling completely alone. And here's the truth: a rich life is measured in memories, not just milestones. And memories are made in moments. Moments like this. Moments that begin with just 1 hour. So the next time you think about success, remember this: don't just build your future, build your people, and do it 1 hour at a time. Stack your hours, stack your future. You've heard it before. Success is built 1 step at a time. Well, I'll say it a little differently. Success is built 1 hour at a time. 1 hour of discipline, 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of building, 1 hour of investing in your mind, your body, your future. Now here's the problem. Most people underestimate what 1 hour a day can do. They say it's just an hour. What difference does it make? Let me show you the math. 1 hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. That's over 300 hours a year. That's more than 7 full-time work weeks. Now ask yourself, what could you do with 7 full-time weeks focused only on growth? You could write a book, learn a high-value skill, build a business, change your health, master your mindset, or even rebuild your life. But you don't do it in a rush. You do it by stacking the hours one on top of another, each one building on the last brick by brick, quiet, steady, strong. That's how a future is built, not in a burst of energy, but in consistent effort. Now here's the secret. Small disciplines don't stay small. They expand, they multiply, they shape who you become. Every time you show up for that hour, you're casting a vote for your future. You're saying, I'm not wasting my life. I'm not waiting on luck. I'm building something that matters. And that decision made daily creates momentum. It creates confidence. It creates results. Because when you add up the hours, you add up the progress. And when you add up the progress, you start changing your identity. You go from someone who waits to someone who builds. Now listen, there will be days you miss it. That's okay, you're human. But don't let a missed hour turn into a missed week or a missed year. Always come back. Get back to stacking, because time is passing either way. And one day, the question won't be, did you dream big? It'll be, did you use your hours wisely? So stack them, protect them, and one day you'll look up and realize you didn't just change your habits, you changed your life. When 1 hour turns into a new you, you started with just 1 hour. 1 hour of learning, 1 hour of building, 1 hour of reflecting, 1 hour for your health, 1 hour for your future. At first, it felt small, almost invisible, like nothing was happening. But day by day, hour by hour, something was happening. You are becoming someone new. Not overnight, not by accident, but by decision. Because here's a truth you can count on. You don't change your life. You've heard the principles. Now comes the decision. Begin today. Tomorrow is uncertain. Today is controllable. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect mood. Don't wait for Monday or the new year. Start. Choose 1 hour. Claim it. Schedule it. Defend it, as if your future depends on it. Because it does. You don't need perfection. You don't need complete clarity. You only need willingness. Remember, knowing isn't enough. Change happens when you act. You have the blueprint. You have the steps. Now activate. Before you close this message, decide, which hour will you reclaim? What will you build? Who will you become? Give 1 hour a day to growth, health, purpose, and people. And a year from now, you'll be living a life you once imagined from a distance. Start today. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. 1 hour, 1 decision, 1 new version of you. Let that be your story.